For years, I said this. Markelle Fultz, coming out of the University of Washington, was the best point guard prospect I had ever seen. And for a long time, that remained true and undisputed because of he had the perfect combination of it all. He was a great playmaker, a great passer. He had elite shot creating ability. He had ability to play both on ball and off ball. He had the size and the length to play both the point guard and shooting guard spots. He had great defensive potential. He was an elite ball handler. He just had it all. And there were little to no weaknesses in his game coming out of Washington. Now, what's happened to him in the NBA has been a completely different story, but that's more or less the same. But as a pure prospect coming out of Washington, I wasn't able to really just name a prospect, whether it was coming out of high school or coming out of college, that was as good as Markelle Fultz. And that was always true until today. Because Cade Cunningham is a player that I really started to take a big attention to this year. And I'm not saying he's as good, or will be as good as Markelle Fultz was at Washington, at least statistically wise, but I can't say with a straight face that Markelle Fultz is the undisputed best point guard prospect I have ever seen anywhere. Because Cade Cunningham's close, and he might even be better. But before we get into that, if you're new, please feel free to like the video. Also, if you are a subscriber, feel free to like the video. But if you're new, also feel free to subscribe. I like 85% of the people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. But so if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed and you like what you see, feel free to like and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell. You'll get notifications anytime I post a video. I make videos about high school, college, NBA, basically any level of the basketball game. But let's talk about Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham is a 6'7", 215-pound point guard out of Arlington, Texas. He is one of the best players in the country. Depending on where you look, he is either ranked 1, 2, or 3, depending on the site. Some sites have him higher than others, but he's a consensus top 3 player in the 2020 recruiting class. He attended Montverde Academy for the past 2 seasons, and you may know that school. It's a school that produced Ben Simmons, D'Angelo Russell, Joel Embiid went there, RJ Barrett went there as well. So there were a bunch of players that went there who went on to have some form of success in the NBA and college as well. So he went to this school, and Montverde Academy this year was one of the best high school teams ever. They were absurdly talented. A bunch of recruited and ranked players on that team, and 2 other players that he played alongside, in Duran Sharp and Scotty Barnes, both will be playing in the ACC next year, were McDonald's All-Americans alongside Cade Cunningham. So he played on a stacked team. So when you look at the stats, which aren't anything spectacular, just remember that he is playing on a loaded team. And teams like Montverde, teams like IMG Academy, schools like that, you don't really see one player just put up out of these world numbers, because they are playing with a lot of other highly recruited players and the ball has to be shared around. That's besides the point. When I watched him play, the first thing I noticed, again, is the size. He's 6'7" and weighs 215 pounds at the point guard spot. 6'7", 215 pounds, that's, especially as an 18-year-old coming out of high school, that's considered great size for a small forward. And to an extent, even a power forward coming out of high school, 6'7", 215, that's considered great size and room to grow. At the point guard spot, that's already insane. He could be 4 inches shorter. It's 6'3", and he weighs 200 pounds. That's considered good size for a point guard in the NBA. 6'7", 215, that's a small forward body. That is insane. But it's more than just the size, because I've seen it with players in the past, guys like Josh Jackson, guys like RJ Barrett, where it's they could play point guard, but they're more naturally a small forward or a shooting guard. Cade Cunningham is a natural point guard. He has all the skills necessary to be a point guard. This isn't a player who's like a point forward. This is a point guard. He has the playmaking abilities. He has the ball handling skills. He's a great shot creator for himself and for others. And again, he's a great leader, which is something you need in your primary playmaker. He has all the intangibles and skills to be a primary playmaker in college and potentially in the NBA. Right now, I would say he's the best player in the 2020 recruiting class, and right now is probably the favorite to go number 1 overall. But anything can happen. This upcoming class is a special class in my opinion. This class has potential to be great. So, for 2021, but we'll have to see. But right now, if I had to say pick who would go first overall, I would go with Cade Cunningham. But that's besides the point. So I mentioned all the size and the skills that he has. But there are things he can improve on. He's not a great three-point shooter, but it's one of those things where he's improving on it, and showing signs of improvement over the course of time is a good sign. He's not a player that like you can leave on an island. At this point, I would compare it to a Jimmy Butler, where it's the percentages aren't great from 3 necessarily. Well, let me check Jimmy Butler's 3-point percentages before I make a complete fool out of myself. Yeah, I would say that, because Jimmy Butler was shooting like 24% from 3. Okay, just wanted to make sure before I made a complete idiot out of myself. But with this Cade Cunningham, I would compare him with Jimmy Butler. You're not going to necessarily see the 3-point percentages be great necessarily, at least for now, because his best was in the EYBL. He shot 35%. He did only shoot 7% at the U19 World Cup in 2019. He only attempted 6 3-pointers in the NBPA Top 100 camp in 2019. And he missed all of them, but he's improving. He's not a player you can leave open, and that's why I compare to Jimmy Butler. Like, yeah, they may not shoot a great percentage. Maybe they aren't necessarily a sniper from 3, but you can't leave them open, and they always are a threat to hit them if given the opportunity. So again, he does have that going for him. So, he is a special player. But again, the fact that he's not a great 3-point shooter right now, it doesn't take away from anything else that he does. Like, he's an all-around great player regardless of the 3-point shooting or not. Passing, rebounding, defending. And overall, it's not like he's a bad scorer. He can create his own shot. But again, the 3-point shooting, it does need to improve. But again, I don't think it's as big of a problem right now. This isn't a player you can just leave on an island, because like he will hit them if he's open. And he does have room to improve, and he could improve based off the way he improved his 3-point shooting throughout his high school career already, and maybe he improves on it at Oklahoma State this year, because he's going to be playing at Oklahoma State. And we'll see from there. But again, it is something that is it is in his weakness. But it's not like necessarily something like completely I'm worried about. It isn't like I'll give you an example. Josh Jackson. I was worried about it with Josh Jackson, just because Josh Jackson, again at that small forward spot, had more of a scoring mentality. Same thing with RJ Barrett. But RJ Barrett is a better scorer than I think people give him credit for. He's just not in a great situation right now in New York. But with Cade, I think though that because he's more of a true point guard, and what I mean by true point guard is you can play him at the point guard. I'm not saying he's someone who's a pass-first point guard. I'm saying like he can play full-time point guard, where I don't think RJ Barrett or Josh Jackson could play full-time point guard. So the concern with a 3-point shot kind of goes down a little bit when talking about Cade versus talking about guys like RJ and Josh Jackson, who kind of struggled from 3 a little bit. But again, if I were to compare him to anyone listen, it's hard to compare him to someone because, think of all the tall point guards in the NBA. Lonzo Ball, he doesn't play Lonzo Ball. He has more of a scoring mentality than Lonzo Ball, and he's probably a better shot creator than Lonzo Ball. At least coming out of UCLA, but potentially in the NBA. If we'll see what happens with that. You look at guys, Spencer Dinwiddie. I think he's a better playmaker than Spencer Dinwiddie is personally, but and I also think that he has a chance to grow and become bigger than Spencer Dinwiddie. It's weird to see a player like this because, we have seen taller point guards. Again, Lonzo Ball is an example. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, guys like that, D'Angelo Russell even. But it's rare to see a guy who plays full-time point guard but has the size of a small forward coming out of high school. And for comparison, look at Scottie Barnes. Scottie Barnes is listed at 6'8", 210 pounds. Cade Cunningham is an inch shorter, weighs 5 pounds more, and is a point guard. So it's just absurd. You don't really see things like this. So I'm excited to see what happens with Cade Cunningham. And again, I think he has a lot of potential in this league. Potential for college. We'll see more point production. Probably the stats will go up from his high school to college because he probably will have more opportunity in college. This is a player at Oklahoma State. They haven't really had a great player like this, or at least some highly recruited players since Marcus Smart. So, and Marcus Smart was incredible at Oklahoma State. And I think Cade Cunningham could put up similar numbers to what Marcus Smart was putting up. Maybe even better numbers than Marcus Smart was putting up. But keep an eye out for Cade Cunningham. He has a lot of potential. And I can't wait to see what he does at Oklahoma State next year. And I'm right now, if you asked me, he's going to hear his name in the lottery. That's basically a given. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's the first name to be called on draft night in 2021. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much. It means so much to me, guys. You guys don't understand. But again, thank you. Like and subscribe if you're new. Feel free to leave feedback in the comments section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.